Well, yes, my heart goes out to the Japanese people. What a tragedy. What can be said? I mean, especially coming from the United States, where gun violence is almost a daily event. But I'd say that the markets are not really focused on political developments, whether in Japan, where they have an election this weekend, or even the resignation of the UK Prime Minister. Instead, I think the markets are focused on the divergence of monetary policy, and again, this underlying resilience of the U.S. economy. So the U.S. jobs data did come out better than people had expected. Though I would say there are pockets of weakness below the surface that will become more important going forward. The participation rate, despite higher wages, despite the squeeze on cost of living in the United States, participation rate actually fell a little bit. And when we're thinking about output, we know that output, what the country produces, is a function of how many hours are worked and our productivity. And what we learned in today's data is that the hours worked actually fell. It's only 1/10 of an hour, but we've got over 100 million people working. And so a 1/10 of an hour difference reduction is really tantamount to a lot of output. And so we'll get those numbers next week. Actually, we get retail sales in the U.S. That should be fairly resilient, and industrial production also should be fairly good, especially given the rise in manufacturing employment contained in this week's data.